Hello, everyone. Beautiful to be here with you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and for being here. Um, Basically, we are going to be all these Saturdays at 4 o'clock LA time, 7 p.m. New York time, and my IG channel and my YouTube channel, talking about these 7 pillars of perfect health. This program that I developed based on these 7 pillars of perfect health. Basically, what we are trying to do is to give you some ideas, suggestions, tips for you to cope with what is going on at this moment, which is pretty intense, obviously. And I hope this could help you. Of course, we can deep too much on these pillars. They need much more exploration, but at least in these 25-30 minutes I give you some basic I explore some basic topics for you to understand, or for you to be encouraged to explore a little bit more what Ayurveda is telling us, or what yoga is telling us, or what the practice of meditation can provide to us, which are basically the 3 areas in which I base my knowledge, in which I base my teaching. So we start with self-awareness 2 Saturdays ago. And just to recap a little bit, self-awareness is crucial. And why self-awareness is crucial? Well, it's crucial because if we are able to just understand what's going on with ourselves at the same moment in which we are just having the cognitive process, then we have the opportunity to modify whatever you want to modify, whatever we want to modify. If we are not very aware of that, then we are part of the problem. We are just very engaged on the story, and then we are not able to see, to understand that is going on. So self-awareness is very crucial because of that. Then last Saturday we were talking about food. We call it food as medicine because food can be seen as medicine. Actually, Ayurveda seafood as medicine. So the most important aspect that I want you to understand, and I think that we emphasized a lot last Saturday, was that food should be seen as energy and information that we are just getting. In my yoga classes, when I am teaching, I say, rethink the way that you see air, the air that you are inhaling. Air is energy that is supporting our life, that allow us to endure, that keep us alive. So that energy that we inhale, we transform and we send it out in a different disguise. We send it out transformed for other species in this planet to be able to breathe, to be able to be alive, to take that energy again back. So this is a beautiful exchange and a beautiful metaphor of the law of giving and receiving, right? So that's how I would like you to understand food. Food is really energy that you are taking, information that you are taking, and when you analyze the food that you're putting in through these aspects that Ayurveda is pretty amazing on how to do that, then food becomes a great medicine, or could be seen as a great medicine for us. And today we are going to focus on stress and emotional healing. Basically, I would like to share with you a few aspects of this. I think that is super important. I keep a lot of emphasis to stress management and to emotional healing, more at this time that we are going through. There is a lot of stress, accumulation of stress. We are being in quarantine for more than 70 days or so. So there is a lot that need to be understood in order to move forward and cope with this. And the good news about the stress, that stress is good. If you read the study done by Alia Cramp and Peter Solovey from Yale University, you can go to my website, maya.org.com, and you can find this study, basically it shows us how stress is good. Per se, the chemical cycle of stress, the acute stress, is good. So how this works is very simple. Just to put it in simple words, as soon as we are facing a stressful situation, the first thing that our body does is to trigger corticosterone, which is the stress hormone. When the corticosterone is triggered, then what it does is to stimulate our brain. The majority of the cells of our brain are called astrocytes. So corticosterone stimulates particularly the astrocytes. That stimulation, what it does is to create a fibroblast of growth called FGF2. This FGF2, what it does is to create new neurons in our hippocampus. Our hippocampus is the part of our brain in charge of memory process, learning process, memory, spatial orientation, self-awareness. So the hippocampus is a big part of our brain, very important part of our brain. And what happened at the end of the chemical cycle of stress is that basically it's refreshed. Stress creates new neurons in our hippocampus. So then how this works, because nobody really likes the stress, nobody really wants to go into stress, and everyone kind of runs away about the stress. Well, I always use the same example. When I am in my classes, getting into this point, I just hold this cup and say, how much is the weight of this cup? And people start guessing, 20 ounces, 60 ounces, and so on. And basically what I say is, no, it doesn't weigh anything. The problem is how long I hold it. That's the big problem. How long I'm going to hold this cup. Now, this is exactly what stress does, because if I hold it now, it doesn't weigh anything, but if I hold it for 20 minutes, then my arm is going to start feeling it. And if I hold it for an hour, then my arm is going to be numb, and then that's exactly how stress works. So basically, the very important point about the stress is to release it. That's a crucial part. The second secret of the stress is that it creates resilience. Now, this I'll explain that a little bit later. But basically, this fibroblasts of growth, what it does, apart from creating new neurons in our hippocampus, is to heal wounds. So it heals internal wounds, and also it lessens depression. So, as you can tell through this study and how the chemical cycle of stress is very good for us. So it needs to be understood that what we need to do about the stress is to release it in a daily way, which is something that we know as a process, because in a daily way, we brush our teeth. In a daily way, we take a shower, which are activities that we do, process that we go through, because we already create a habit, because we know that this is good for me, and we know that this is good for me, we know that this is good for us, and we somehow create a habit. It takes about 21 days to create a habit. So what I deeply recommend is basically to go into the releasing of stress in a daily way, in a daily basis. One perfect exercise to do this is called 16 seconds on scuba breathing. You can access to this exercise through my SoundCloud account, through my website, or through Spotify, or any music platform. You can type Maya, M-Y-A, meditation, yoga, Ayurveda, Maya, M-Y-A, Diego Gesualdi, and then you can access to any of these platforms, and you have access to these guided meditations. One of the exercises is called Petite Meditations. It's called 16 seconds or scuba breathing. So let's practice just for 1 second, couple of minutes, this very simple exercise that can help you as you brush your teeth every day, as you take a shower every day. This can help you in a daily basis to release the stress that you are going through. because stress is cumulative. We keep accumulating stress. So it's crucial to begin the process in a daily basis to release the stress that we are accumulating, regardless of the life that we are going through. Particularly this moment, I think that most of us were very stressed out, but it has to be something that you develop as a habit, and then in a simple way you can incorporate into your life. So close your eyes for a second. And then move your attention toward your breathing. The air goes through your nostrils in and out, and you feel how this process goes. You feel the air going through your nostrils in and out. You feel your lungs expanding and moving down on each inhalation and on each exhalation. And then when you feel ready, begin counting your breathing. 4 seconds inhalation, 4 seconds holding, 4 seconds exhalation, 4 seconds holding. Inhalation, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhalation. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Continue doing this at your own pace. Next time that you exhale, just keep your eyes softly closed, breathe normally, don't count anymore, don't hold anymore. Your breathing, allow your breathing to be normal. And then when you feel ready, please open your eyes. So this is the exercise that I deeply recommend. One of my students call it stress hygiene. So yeah, this is the exercise that I deeply recommend to release stress in a daily basis. You can practice this. If you practice this for 3 minutes, 12 seconds, if I did the math right, you go through the 16-second cycle about 12 times, which is enough to begin the releasing of stress. So practice this in a daily basis. I deeply recommend you to practice this at this moment 3 times per day. So you can practice 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes during the afternoon, or 3 minutes at night. And then you will see that about a week, you begin releasing the stress that you are accumulating in a daily basis. The second secret about the stress is that it creates resilience. It's very incredible how science sees resilience. So science define resilient materials as those materials that are capable to receive any impact, energy impact, and even though that impact could modify the shape of the material, it has the necessary resilience to go back to the shape that it was or it had before receiving the impact. So I think that is a perfect metaphor to explain what resilience is. We are receiving any impact and we have the capability to receive the impact and then go back to the same shape prior the moment in which we receive the impact. And this is something that is happening constantly in a daily basis, because as I say, regardless the life that you live, you may be living a perfect life, still you're going to go into stressful situations constantly. How we respond when those needs are not met is basically a great way to see stress and And this is something that can help you to understand stress in a better way. So just to recap a little bit, stress per se is good. The chemical cycle is good. By the end, when we are in a daily basis releasing stress, what it happens is that our hippocampus get refreshed, and basically it also that creation of the FGF2 also heal wounds, and also it's helping us for depression. And finally, what it does is to create resilience. So when we are facing stress in a daily basis, we develop resilience. We are able to develop this sort of capability to go back to our shape, to our balance, as prior to the facing of stress. So in order to move forward, because I can spend much more minutes with this, I would like to talk a little bit about emotional healing. Why emotional healing? Why I'm giving emotional healing so much emphasis? Well, we live in relationships. Life is a relationship. In order to heal emotionally, what we need to do is to heal our relationships. It's crucial to heal our relationships. If you see relationships as Carl Jung saw them, like those mirrors that are helping us, those mirrors and shades, he talks in those terms, that help us to understand our conscious and unconscious mind. And then what we are seeing, or how we are just using our relationships, is based on healing our own self, because through knowledge, through understanding our own self, then is how we heal our own self. So relationships are those mirrors through which we can see ourselves. And my teacher told me once, if you see someone that you like, then this is a part of you that is reflecting in that someone, and then that's why you like her or you like him. And then when you see someone that you don't like, basically this is a part of you that you don't like to see, and then that person is showing you that part of you that need to be seen, and then you are kind of in denial, you don't want to see. That's why you somehow don't like someone. So basically this is a great opportunity, though, because then our relationships can help us to understand ourselves, and then can help us to heal emotionally. Obviously, the most important relationship that we need to heal is the relationship with ourselves. But it takes our entire life to refine ourselves. It takes our entire life to go into that place. And then in the meantime, we can use relationships to help us to understand who we are and how to get better. Now, I create this program based on three basic areas: facing, communicating with nonviolence, and releasing. And these are the 3 steps that I recommend to follow. Of course, I can explore so much this. I will give you just a glimpse of it. But I usually have workshops on emotional healing. I give emotional healing great emphasis. I think that more at this moment, most of us, we need a lot of understanding on how to heal emotionally. I think that most of us, we don't like so much to work on emotions. I don't know, I just talk about myself. I think that I spent my entire life not being able to really understand my emotions, my emotional side. I always was kind of putting aside. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to deal with this. This is not for me. I am not interested about this. But then we create a lot of pain. We create a lot of inner pain, and we create a lot of pain on the people that is surrounding us. And then my program is based on these three steps in order to be able to heal those relationships. So the first thing that need to be done is to face. You need to face that. Okay, I have a problem. You and I, we are holding something here. Most of the time, what we do is just to put it aside. We call it a delayed conversation. We hold it, and then we don't talk about this. Why? Because it's painful. Nobody really wants to talk so much about emotions. in my experience, many of us are coming from very dysfunctional emotional families. Our parents did their best, we did our best. Still, there is something that needs to be explored in a much more deeper way, from my point of view. And facing is crucial. One of the important things about facing is that we need to understand how we feel. We need to define our emotion, how we are feeling, which most of the time we are very confused about this. Why? Because most of the time, instead to understand how we feel, what we do basically is to describe a third-party behavior. Sometimes we say, I feel abused, I feel betrayed, I feel used, I feel misunderstood. Those are not feelings. Those are not feelings. Someone abused me, someone betrayed me, someone used me, someone misunderstood me. That's a different story. So instead to describe a feeling, let's say that someone abused me, then I can feel sad, I can feel surprised, I can feel furious, I can feel overwhelmed, frustrated. Those are feelings. So why this is important? Well, understanding how we feel is super important at the moment we communicate, which is the second step. So the first step is basically based on these areas, right? You want to really recognize what your emotion is. You want to first face the problem. Yes, I have a problem. And then how do I feel? How do I really feel? What is the emotion that I am holding with it? And then when you recognize that, then the moment comes to really communicate. So you want to communicate in a non-violent way. I deeply recommend you a very amazing book that you can purchase. It's called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. It will change the way that you communicate. And it's a very interesting book that can help you a lot in order to communicate. And finally, the third step that you want to take is to let it go. Releasing regardless of the outcome. Because most of the time also, we want things to happen the way that we want. But that's not exactly how things are. And we did our best. We faced the problem. We communicated in a non-violent way. Then at some point, the last step is to let it go, regardless of the outcome. If it worked well, excellent, thumbs up, and then we go. But if it didn't, then we need to understand how to let it go. We are very much sometimes deep into attachment. No? We are very attached to things, and then it's very difficult for us to release it and let it go. The word about this is called acceptance. Acceptance is the moment in which you basically find rest within. The word acceptance is coming from a Latin word, acquiescere. Acquiescere means finding rest within. So when you accept whatever it is that is happening, then you begin the process to heal yourself, because you begin the process to start having a light heart. You just start healing your heart because you accept what really is happening, instead to hold and grieve and then waste all the energy fighting that you are not able to accept. So that's mainly the skeleton of my program. 3 steps: facing, communicating with non-violence, and letting go, releasing whatever it is, regardless of the outcome. Now, if this is too complicated, at the moment in which you are going to say something, you can use also the 3 filters, the 3 conscious filters that are based on wisdom traditions. These filters are: is it true? That's the first filter. You are going to say something to someone. So you got to ask yourself, is it true? Because if it is not true, then why you're going to say it? That's the first filter. The second filter, is it necessary? Because sometimes something is true, but it's not very necessary to put it out, to say it there. And the third filter, is it kind? What is wrong with kindness? It's like lately we lost kindness. So these 3 filters need to be pass in order for you to be able to communicate something to someone. When you are going to have this conversation with someone, then ask yourself these questions. This is a simple way to put together, to do an inner work before you are going to be able, before you are going to be, open to communicate something to someone. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Now, my teacher, David Simon, told me once, Diego, what is it that you want? You want to be right or you want to make peace? If we want to be right, instead to healing what we are supposed, that we suppose, yes, I want to heal this. Instead to heal this, what we are doing is talking about ourselves. We are not healing the relationship. We are just talking about our extra emotional charge. We're putting we're pursuing the point. We are putting ourselves there. We're putting our energy there instead to work on healing this that I want to heal. I think that is a great question. What is it that I want? I want to be right, or I want to make peace. And finally, the idea of the word responsibility. Think a little bit about the word responsibility. What responsibility means? Responsibility means ability to respond. Most of the time, we are not able to respond. And because we are not able to respond, then we put our responsibility towards someone else or towards something else. Because of you or because of that, then this is how I feel. Nobody is responsible for our emotions. If we can understand that, not from here, but from here, that nobody is responsible for our emotions, then we would have a much more easy life emotionally. So there are ways that you can work about relationships and how to begin the process to heal your relationships. It's very simple. There's an exercise that you can practice in a blank paper. In the center of the blank paper, write down your name. Yeah? You write down your name in the center of the blank paper, and then you create a small circle, surrounding this your name. So you just write down your name, and then you create a small circle surrounding your name. When you do that, in that circle, what you write is the people that is very close to you. As I define it, the people, if these people call me, I just leave everything and then I go there and I just be there present because I'm going to be there for them. So my inner circle, my intimate circle. So write down the names of these people. Then create another circle, a little bit bigger, and then put the names of the people that is not as close to you, but still closer to you. And then keep creating circles and keep filling those circles with the names of the people that somehow you believe pertain to the different levels of relationships that you have in your life. You will be surprised with the amount of relationships that we have in our life. You will be surprised with the possibility to heal those relationships, creating this map of relationships. This is how I call it, the map of relationships. One important thing that needs to be said here is that sometimes we are not able to heal those relationships. You maybe did the entire job, you maybe did your entire inner work, you did everything, but in the other side, maybe they don't want to do it, or maybe you can even do it because that person is not anymore in this planet. So what you can do, of course, you cannot heal the relationship. Their relationship cannot be healed, but you can heal your relationship with that person. And this is a very amazing inner work that you can do in order to find that acceptance, that sort of peace within, healing my relationship. Sometimes we hold many things, and unfortunately that person passed, and we can really heal that relationship because there is not material chances to do that. But then we can at least heal our relationship with that person, which will be very helpful. And to recap, then, life is a relationship. You really want to heal the relationships. So when you make that map that I told you, start making the calls. Start making the calls and say, I love you. I want this to happen. I am here for this to happen. You will be surprised on how good responses you will have. And there is always room to heal our relationships. There is always room to heal our relationships if we know how to do it, if we know how to communicate, if we know how to release whatever is created by that process of healing. Well, I think that I'm going to stop here. As I said, I want to just use about 25-30 minutes on these talks in order not to overwhelm you. And I hope you basically found these ideas, these suggestions good for you, and that you can use them. You can contact me at any time at info@mayawork.com. You can contact me through any of these medias, like my IG channel or YouTube channel, or going to my website, mayawork.com. Thank you so much for your time. Beautiful to be with you. Namaste.